So we had only spent about 4 hours in the emergency room on admission when we were immediately referred to the Birmingham day surgery, and there was already an ambulance on standby. I thought it was a joke, but there was a doctor on duty. It was a Nigerian doctor. She was very helpful. What she had done was she immediately gave us something for the itching, just to stop the itching on the spot, and then she called the dermatologist, who he changed all the creams. But then it didn't stop all of the situation. What was to be done was to immediately refer us to the surgery in Birmingham to take care of what had brought us to the AR. Good morning, my name is Folakemi, and if you have seen the first version of this, the first part of this video, this is the second part where I am talking about our experience with eczema and how we were able to overcome all that we had to do, how we went from GP to GP, GP appointments to the ER, and then to the Birmingham Day surgery, and that was the beginning of our son's full recovery. Now, what had happened was that there was a particular week where our son developed boil, and it was a very big boil. I mean, as big as two fingers of a grown-up man, of a fully grown man. So this boy, we left it for a few days, applied oils, Vaseline and all of that to help it soften, but it was not going anywhere. It was just there. So we had to go to the GP. And when we got to the GP, she immediately referred us to the ER. So we drove straight to the ER, and that was when they gave us antibiotics to go home with. Tried that for a few days, and if there were no changes, we should come back. So we went through with the antibiotics. After about 4 or 5 days, there was still no changes. My son was in pains because of the boy. This boy was just above his groin, uh, and it was very massive. It was a big boy. So we went back again to the ER, and that's when we spent, after I think we spent about 11 hours before we were admitted. Yeah, that's the UK. Coventry ER, we try of it. I think it's just Coventry or maybe a few other places, but I've been to other places where their ER is not like that. But Coventry ER, we test your faith. So we went to the ER that day, and after 11 hours, we were finally admitted. Thankfully, it was a Nigerian doctor on duty that morning. And after seeing my son, she was really concerned. He had lost a lot of weight over this time because of the constant scratching, inability. He was just very restless. So this particular doctor immediately, gave him something to stop the itching, and then called the dermatologist, who changed her creams immediately, and then they were discussing, and then she said this boil itself is still an outshoot of the ongoing eczema that this boy is experiencing. So that was when they had that conversation, and they said, okay, just refer him to Birmingham. They can't lacerate the boil here. This boil will need to be lacerated in Birmingham so that the boy can be comfortable. So we're scheduled for day surgery in Birmingham, and went on the ambulance straight from Coventry to Birmingham. Now, thankfully, the doctor on duty, the surgeon that was there, saw us, and there were so many people waiting, and they had been scheduled for surgery. The surgeon said, you don't have to be scheduled for surgery. Why didn't they last? He was wondering. I said, even I don't understand. So he said, okay, you know what? If we go on with the normal schedule, you would be sleeping in the hospital until your boy is recovered. We'll have to look at. But I don't see anything. I don't see a big deal in this. So I'm just going to take his file aside, and I'm going to treat him immediately, so you can go home today. That was a huge relief. So immediately they took us to another, like an operating room, a small operating room, and that was where the boy was lacerated, and the massive boy just went straight down. The pus was pressed out, everything, and then it was covered up. And by evening, we were home. Now, this same period, I think it was that same week, we had house fellowship, and there was a doctor friend. So our doctor friend came, and he saw our son, and he was like, oh, he was really worried. He had known about the situation, but this time around, he was just very concerned, even more concerned. He was worried. He was like, this boy is not, you shouldn't be going through this, he's not putting on weight, blah, blah, blah. It was almost like telling myself and my husband that we're not doing enough. But we're like, we have done everything. Like, so he said, you know what? what you will do, you will go back to the GP. And when you go to the GP, tell the GP this. Tell the GP that your son is suffering. You have to tell him. You have to use that phrase. He's suffering. He's having sleepless nights. He's going through a lot. Tell the GP. Use that word. I know you are a Christian. I know you don't. We don't talk like that. I know we don't say things like that. But if you don't say it like that, you may not get, um, you know, extra attention. That you may not get the extra attention that you need, or maybe you may not. This matter will not be well treated. There will not be an end to this. Basically, that's what he was saying. So he said, go back to the GP, and when you get there, tell the GP, my son is suffering. You have to use that word. I know you're a Christian. So I said, okay. So, and then that week, I remember having a conversation with my brother. And then I was telling him that, oh, so he was just asking, how is everyone doing? Blah, blah, blah. We're just talking. I said, oh, everyone is fine. Then I gave him the gist of how, our son came up with boil. And it was like, what happened? Where is it? I said, he has eczema. So that was the first time I was ever mentioning it to my brother. I don't even know why I didn't say it. And he just said, look, leave everything you're doing. Stop the crimes. He said, this is what is happening. That boy is allergic and is eating something that is constantly causing him to go through that. So he now said, well, I have a son who once went through that. And to date, it pains me that we didn't discover on time what the challenge was. My brother was saying, he said, he said it was horrible. He said he still blames himself because they just literally, were using creams. They did everything that he said, everything you said you are doing, we did. We did it until we went back to the doctor. And then we insisted, we asked for an allergy test. And that was the end of it. He said he's allergic. It's not the creams. You're just treating the consequence of what is eating. As long as he's eating those things, it will continue to react. I said, really? He said yes. So I booked an appointment with the GP. Of course, I now had two more reasons to book an appointment. One more reason to book an appointment with the GP. So we went to the GP. When I got there, I told the woman, I said, doctor, she's an Igbo, immigrant who immigrated to the UK many, many years back. So she's like an elderly woman. So I said, ma, please, this is the situation. I'm asking for an allergy test. She said, she was a bit hesitant. She said, yeah, well, I was just going to change your cream. She was really hesitant. I said, ma, my son is suffering. Beloved people, the moment I said my son is suffering, she said, okay, you know what? You might be right. Let's just, I'll schedule you for the test now. That was how she scheduled us for allergy test. I think that test happened like maybe 2 weeks down the line. And the result came out maybe another 2 weeks after. As in, come and see the long list of what this boy is allergic to. And I will mention them, shortly. But this is what I want to say. If you have a child that is going through this challenge, what you want to do is to face this challenge head on. And the first thing to do, I will say the number one thing to do is to go and do an allergy test. That child is just suffering unnecessarily. Go and do an allergy test. Now, when you get to the GP, they will tell you, they'll be hesitant. They won't suggest it to you. They will think, but you have to just, maybe like me, use that word if they're not forthcoming, and then get the allergy test done. Once the allergy test is done, it will give you all of the list of a list of what the challenges, what your child is allergic to, and you can avoid those things. The other thing we did was, which I think also helped a little bit, was that we changed from laundry detergent to, skin sensitive pods. So like Fairy, and the likes of them. So I use Fairy. So change your laundry detergent, after the allergy test. That's the number one thing. The number two thing is to change your laundry detergent if you're using detergent. The other thing that that I feel like everyone needs to do is to pay attention to other sources, apart from his allergic intake. Now, where are the other sources, other situations where this child might be exposed? It might be somebody eating that thing that child is allergic to near them. It might be somebody rubbing it, around. It could just be somebody. It could even be you. He's not now taking it in like in his food is something that is exposed to as a reason of environment. For example, our son is allergic to pollen, so I'm always mindful if we have to go outside. I'm mindful of him not going, near flowers and all of those things. I am very mindful because he might react to it. So the other thing is now to look for alternatives to those things that is allergic to that are still healthy. So for example, our son is allergic to cow milk, is allergic to nuts, is allergic to eggs, is allergic to soy, is allergic to wheat. So you can see the list. It's a very long list. And that's just, I think those are the major things that is allergic to. There are other things on that list, but those are the major ones. So what I have done is to now avoid those things. Now for wheat, sometimes most of the food around here is based on wheat. Cereal, children's cereal and everything is wheat based. So what I have done is to make his own rice based. So we stick to rice based cereal. If he's still a child, for example, my son had to take Heinz rice baby food, and then instead of the wheat based. And then for egg, which you always want children to have egg, it doesn't take egg. It only takes chicken, fish, maybe crayfish. Those are the things that we have had to switch over to. So we don't take egg, whether boiled or fried. We don't take it. We don't take cow milk, so we have stuck to Aptamil until we can no longer take Aptamil. Then we'll find a different alternative. So it may cost you more, it may cost you some money, but you know that at least your son will not be experiencing those things that he's experiencing. So those are the things that have, so the major things that is allergic to. Nut is even a no-no. Not to cause his skin to break open on the spot. Once my son eats nut, his skin breaks open, apart from the internal reaction, vomiting and throwing up and all of that. So these are the things that you need to pay attention to. I would also say, of course, everything should be done on the background of prayers, constant prayers over that child, constant confession of God's word over that child, against the reality that you're seeing, against the fact that is before your face. You speak the reality of God's word over that child until you have, complete, recovery and wholeness. And of course, I can tell you for free, that my brother said his son has outgrown most of all these things. The only one that maybe still allergic to is nuts. But my brother's son now eats egg, he eats everything that he was allergic to, beans and all of that. He eats everything. So I believe this will help. Please do share this video and like it, send it out there so that other people can watch and know what to do and their child does not have to go through it. Thank you very much. Leave a comment, let me know if this helps. God bless you. Bye.